Well, good morning, you guys. I am Crystal, and welcome to my channel, Homemaking on the Homestead. And I really appreciate you all stopping by. Today is Homemakers Journal 22. And in Homemakers Journal, I'd like to share bits and pieces from my life and homemaking tips and homemaking ideas, things to give you inspiration, and things that you hopefully will enjoy watching. And, just a little bit of this and that for your homemaking life and your homemaking encouragement and inspiration, I guess, like I just said. Anyway, can you believe that it's not, as I'm filming this, it's not quite the middle of June yet. I am still here in my flannel shirts. Yep, because it's still cold here. And we had a string of nice days. I almost put all the shirts away and my sweaters and all that and my wool socks. And then all of a sudden it got cold again, wet again. So April and May were record rainy, cool months, and June is looking the same way at this point. But there is some hope on the horizon. I see some nice days coming, so who knows? Maybe we'll see summer. I have no idea. In the meantime, I just get busy, I stay focused, and it is what it is, right? And make myself another pot of tea and just keep on plugging away. I usually try to get out videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. That's been my goal since, I don't know, about October of last year. It's really a challenge. I used to do one every 4 days, and then I did that for a little while, and what I realized is that way nobody really knows when a video is going to come out because they're not consistent, and I thought, okay, I can try to up my game to 2 videos a week, and I've been pretty good. A few things here and there have come up, but for the most part that's what I've been doing, and that's great up until last week. So if you follow my channel, you probably realize there were no videos that went out at all last week. I did communicate over the community tab, so make sure you check that out. I'm trying to post on there more often. And to let you know that my husband and I were out of town. We had gone up north into Washington, the state that I live in, and we're visiting some family that we have. We have a son up there. I have a mother-in-law, father-in-law that live up there, and so we like to go up there and visit. And we were there for a couple days, and then we decided kind of just, what the heck. We decided to take the long way home. So they live up on the Olympic Peninsula. I'm sure a lot of you aren't familiar with Washington's geography, but it's all the way up near the tippy top of Washington on the northwest side. So we are right by the Canadian border. And we followed the main highway and made our way around and down and took another 3 days to come home and had a great time. I had Tuesday's video pretty much ready to go, but I honestly didn't have the time, and I wasn't in any place that had Wi-Fi long enough to be able to finish up the video. There was just a few things I needed to do and get it uploaded. I could have done it when I was at my in-laws, but I'm visiting, and it just didn't work. However, my husband and I had an amazing time away. We really enjoyed our little unplanned kind of break away, and just saw things, parts of Washington State we had never seen before. We went through rainforests, and we went through to the ocean, and we got to see many beautiful ocean views along the coastline. Drove through the town of Forks, Washington. So if any of you are, oh my gosh, now I can't remember the name of the movie. It's that vampire movie. I'm not into vampires. I'm not into vampire movies. But for this movie, it was filmed there. So that was kind of an interesting tidbit. Anyway, as I am sharing things today on this video, my plan is to also be sharing sites and things along the way from our trip. And so I hope you guys enjoy that, and I hope you find that to be something, just a little different than what I normally do. I am going to show you how quickly this brownie mix goes together, and with this mix you can just keep it on your shelf, and whenever you want a little bit of brownie treats, they're just easy to throw together. So it's pretty simple and super frugal to do, so you don't have to buy boxes of brownie mix when you can quickly just whip up your own and have it sitting on the shelf ready to go. Okay, homemade brownie mix. Now I am going to turn some of this into a pan of brownies, and then the rest of it I'm going to put into a Ziploc bag and store it on my shelf.
Nuts on it? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what it looks like.
I definitely had my doubts as I was making the batter. It seemed really thick, and I was like, okay, let's see how this turns out. And then I baked them. They smelled amazing. And then I took them out, and they were kind of falling apart. And I'm like, maybe they're not cooked enough. But around the edges, I was worried it was going to actually get overdone if I left them in there any longer. And then I think in reality, I was just being just a little over anxious, and it was still kind of, they were too warm. So I waited until they cooled off. I cut them up and was able to take them out. They didn't fall apart, and I would say they are delicious. They are a fudgy type brownie. So, you know, if that's the kind of brownie you like, this is probably perfect. I'm not sure what would need to be done to make them more of a cake-like brownie, if that's more your thing, but we've always enjoyed the fudgy brownie thing. So for us, it worked out perfect. Oh yeah. Okay, I am getting ready to make some Mexican rice, Spanish rice, whatever you want to call it, to go with our dinner tonight. And I wanted to share something with you. My recipe for this calls for 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. In order to get that 1 tablespoon, I need to open the whole entire can. So, what do you do with the rest of the can of tomato paste if this happens to you? I'm going to show you. Okay, there we have it on the plate, 1 tablespoon measurements, and now I'm going to put this in the freezer. After they have frozen solid, then I just put them into Ziploc bags and mark them and put them back in the freezer. That way, anytime I have another recipe that requires a tablespoon of tomato paste, I already have it ready to go, and the rest of this doesn't just sit in my refrigerator dying a slow death. Sometimes I have leftover casserole, you know, especially if I make a large pan of something, you know, like a 9x13 pan. So typically for just my husband and I will cook something up in an 8x8 pan or a 9x9 pan. And honestly, that will often feed us for 2 nights. So when I do a 9x13, that's a lot more food. And we're not always in the mood to eat the exact same thing for days on end. And this is a little trick that I do. I've done this many times over the years. So here is what I do when I have food like that and I want to save it for another time. I grab my 8x8 pan and I line it with foil. And then I cut up my casserole. In this case, this was some enchiladas, but I have done it with lasagna. I've done it with anything. After it's sat in the refrigerator for a couple days, of course, it gets nice and firm. So it's not any problem to load it into the smaller pan that's been lined with foil. And then once I have it all in there, then I wrap the casserole up in the foil. and then usually we'll put another piece over the top of it or around it, just to give it some extra protection. I label it and put the date on it and put that in the freezer. So the great thing about this is that when I am ready to use this again, all I have to do is pull it out of the foil, and I already know it will fit absolutely perfect right back into that 8x8 pan. And so it's a great way to not take up a lot of space in the freezer, just have them stacked up neatly in the freezer, and they're good for, you know, the next meal. Or my tea. All right, you guys, I think that will wrap up today's Homemakers Journal 22, and I hope you really enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give me a like. I appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I would appreciate that a lot, and I would love to see you back here again. All right, you guys, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.